Hey, Christopher, how you going, man?
Good, good, better.
Better, yeah. You've been in the wars the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's been learning how to use my body again.
Yeah, well, it's your age, you should have it mastered. So it's good to know that you're getting the hang of it. Um, Listen, as I said to you this afternoon, I just wanted to do a little endorsement for you and with you on the Master Design Program, because I know from my own experience the benefit that people can get by understanding their own unique design. And I've personally made a lot of modifications in the way I do life in general and in specific terms that leave me feeling the better for it. And I want to just run through a couple of illustrations for about 5 minutes on one or two examples, if you would, of people that have experienced design. And I often hear you talk about support and how that in our design chart, and once we start to understand our design, we've got parts that are coloured in and defined, and parts that are open and need support. But to you, what would you say support makes people? How do people know when they're being supported? What are they looking for in that support? Because I love the fact your brand is powerful support. And
Yeah.
so what is people's takeaway from the support they get when they understand their design?
Well, support's really simple at essence. Someone's got some energy that when you take it in, when they decide to give it to you and you take it in, it brings out the best in you.
Mm.
That's what support is, on any number of levels. And one of the skills I've got, which is actually part of what I do in my design, is to provide a whole range of energy and experience that people can draw upon what they need from to bring out the best in them. So my focus is getting to understand what they're doing and what they're gifted with, and then giving them the energy that will really take that to the next level.
Yeah, I like that. That's good. It ties into an illustration we were both chatting about a couple of nights ago over a cup of tea when we were talking about generators, because you're a generator, right? So when I was a very young kid, I left school. I entered in the electrical business and became an electrician. So I know a lot about generators. And the thing about a generator is it'll just light anything up, warm anything up, heat anything up, drive anything that gets connected to it. Right. And it really doesn't care what's on the other end, as long as it just needs the power and the support that generators bring. And I think that's a terrific illustration of your capacity to really help people be what they want, light them up in the way that they want to light up, how they can show up best in the world. I'm always amused, and I've heard this story a few times now, but it bears telling again, about the guy who was a pro golfer, and you helped him improve his golf swing by supporting him in his design. Tell us about that. That's a great little story.
Well, he heard that I could identify from his makeup and his birth date where the strengths and the weaknesses were.
Mm.
I'd actually developed it in such a way that you could take apart a golf swing and see where the strengths and the weaknesses were. And so he said, well, let's go out on the golf course. I've got a video. And I said, okay, I'll predict where, you're putting probably more energy in than you need to, and where you're being a bit soft and you need to strengthen it up a bit or get some support there. And I predicted it. We videotaped it after he'd done some shots, and it was exactly where even I was like, this is great, you know, because it actually demonstrates that what I understood in real life is actually what's going on. So it verified it. It made it like this information really does make a difference. And then if you work with it, you can improve your golf swing.
And there's a real mathematical, numerical aspect, isn't there, to understanding your design and how you function best. I mean, it's not just sort of, you know, my lucky numbers, so to speak, which is, you know, a little bit, it's not superstitious. It's actually something that is very, very predictable with people, isn't it? You can look at their human design map and find the significant numbers that actually are going to enable them to show up more fully and in a more satisfied, peaceful and harmonious way than if they don't do it. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's more than the numbers. It's a map of how you operate. And you and I have worked together on this for 4 years or more, and we know from business, from friendships, from partners, from all sorts of things, this information really is useful in the real world, and that's the key. And so if you've got someone who's mastered that and is always developing a deeper understanding, they can support you in getting the information they need. You don't have to go and get caught up in the jargon or the scene. You can get the information you need to get the best out of yourself. And both of us win. I get to do what I love to do, and you get to do more of what you're great at doing.
It's sort of about, you know, really building efficiency into our lives and doing more with less, I find. You know, I mean, apart from the fact I'm getting older, like, well, we're all getting older, but I've lived a fair chunk of life now, you know, at my age, in my 6th decade. It's becoming increasingly important to me to do more with less. And I'm finding that the more in depth I can get, not only a mental understanding, that's definitely a part of it, but actually integrate that into my practices in my daily life, the more I find I move with ease through life and can accomplish everything I used to accomplish, you know, in 12-hour days as an aggressive young entrepreneur. Now I'm an old entrepreneur accomplishing more with a lot more spare energy and time in my life. And I think that's part of being supported, and something you really, you know, shine at, showing people how to show up like that. I'm reminded of another story you shared with me about the woman who I think you told me she was a safety officer or something, but you know, she said something about just being in a circumstance was adding value to the company she was working for. You want to talk about that, lady? You know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. She did master design with me for 9 months, and that was great because it builds a foundation. It's not just getting the theory, it builds a foundation. And she enjoyed it so much she did another 9 months. And I'm talking.
She's a groupie. She's a Christopher Power groupie.
Groupie, yeah, sort of. Well, the interesting thing is she's a generator, like one of these energy sources, which I am as well. But with her, she was employed, working as a safety officer, talking to executives, and a lot of them were just going, oh, too hard, too much, too whatever. And yet the CEO absolutely loved having her around, and even went to conferences and invited her to go to conferences with him. And she's going, why? And he wasn't trying to hit on her or anything. It was like he liked having her around. And I said, look, you're an energy source. If those executives don't listen to you, they're the ones missing out. And, you know, if something happens, or you go upstairs and tell them they're not listening, right? That's just standard practice. But the reason the CEO keeps inviting you around is because your presence makes a difference.
Mm.
And there are many people like that. I'm one of them, who just having me around or having me involved with you, even if I don't say a lot, it provides the energy that you can draw upon when you need it to do what I make other people look good.
makes me think of, you know, you've got you've got the cheerleaders on the side of a football game who do the rah rah and wave the, you know, the pom poms and banners around the dance, but that energy cheering the team on gives energy to the team and to the crowd who cheer louder and harder and support the team. And if it didn't actually do something good, then people wouldn't spend a lot of money you know, on actually doing it. And I think of, you know, little Johnny playing football on the field, and he's always looking across to the sideline to see if Dad's watching, because the attention and the presence of Dad, or, you know, Mum or the uncle or whoever it is, being there and supporting him gives him that sort of support that brings the best out of him. And we can all do so much more when we have the right support. So, and I know in my life, just to close off this little session with you, Christopher, I know that in my own business as an entrepreneur and dealing with, you know, 30-odd thousand other businesses are in my business. It's a big, I've got an online shopping mall with more than 30,000 odd merchants in it. And I know that the support that I've needed at going through different phases of my business that you've been able to bring has been greatly appreciated. And I want to commend to anybody listening to this, landing on this video at this time, you're considering the opportunity to engage Christopher as someone who can help you master your design. And I like to think of it like this: you're really mastering yourself at the end of the day. It's called master design, but it comes down to you mastering you. Right. That you could easily consider this to be one of the great investments you've made in your personal life, in your sense of peace and satisfaction and success that you are seeking. And I want to commend to you the opportunity to take this. I know that Christopher's got one or maybe two spaces available just at the moment. Usually one or two new spaces come up on it every month or so. And right now there's a space or two available. And you really want to jump on it, because these kind of opportunities can change the course of your life and your enjoyment of it, and just make you move through life and your business and relationships with so much more grace, elegance, ease, and everything that you're looking for in your life. So, Christopher, I know that the right people are coming to you, and you're coming to the right people, and I certainly thank you for the support that you've been in my life. Good on you, man.
My pleasure. Thank you, Darryl.
Okay. Catch you soon.